Hello, can you guys hear me okay? Testing the microphone. Testing the microphone. Welcome, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about analyzing deals. We can cover a few different types of deals that we can analyze. Give me one moment ago. We're live on all platforms: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, something. We're going to be going live on Twitter Spaces. Audio quality good? Everybody have a good weekend? Uh, Drop it in the comments below. Okay, what do we get to? All right, hey, Rebecca, thanks for joining. Are you on? Sorry, audio quality is not what? Not good? There he is, Mr. Teifke. And that, can you hear us okay? Everything sounds good? Today we're going to be talking about how to analyze the real estate deals like a pro. Got Instagram, TikTok. Everybody drop a comment below. Tell us where you're at and what type of deals you're trying to buy. We're here in Austin, Texas. The mic's not wrong. It's still the same mic. It's something here. Right? Does it not sound good? All right. So we're here in Austin, Texas. Can we fix it then? We're here in Austin, Texas, and we buy all different types of deals here. Uh, we've got some small commercial multifamily. We've got some single family rentals. We've got some duplexes. We've got some triplexes. We've got some fourplexes, mobile home park. Um, what else do we have? Some Airbnbs. And uh, one of the things that Matt and I are highly focused on, and always have been, is getting really, really good deals when we buy them. So we always want to try and get a great price on the deal as soon as we go into it. That way we're walking in some equity and we're making money on the buy. We don't necessarily like hoping for appreciation. We don't want to try and uh, we don't want to bet on the market. Something happens like has happened all this year. Fed starts raising interest rates, prices start dropping, buyers can't afford things. There's more inventory on the market, and if you bought a deal in January and you paid at market value or above market value, I can pretty much guarantee that you are in the negative right now. You are underwater. Your mortgage might even be more than the home is actually worth on the open market. Uh, there's a there's a lot of sellers out there right now who will take discounts on their property. They will take haircuts on their property. They will sell them for way less than they probably should because they need to sell for some reason. Or maybe they're in fear about holding on to this property for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Uh, and there's a lot of motivation out there. And so this is what Matt and I have always looked for. We've been investing in real estate together for the last 5 years. Matt prior to that on his own and with other partners and everything else uh, he's been doing for the last 13 years. And right now, this is the highest motivation we've ever seen. We've never seen people be willing to take such low prices for the property. Um, and I have a feeling this is going to continue for a little bit. I don't think that this will stick around for forever. But right now, it's a great opportunity to go out there and get some good deals. It doesn't matter what type of deals you're buying. If you're listening in here and you want to own a single family rental, and you have the goal of buying one single family rental every year and building up a portfolio of 20 single family rentals for the next 20 years to retire on, right now is a great time to go out there and get a good deal. So, what is a good deal? It depends on what you're buying, what you're looking for. But when we're analyzing deals and we're looking for deals to buy, we're looking for things that, like I mentioned at the start, that we're going to make money on it the day that we buy it, the instant we buy it. So if a property, for example, right now is listed at $500,000 on the MLS, and we think that, let's say early mid 2020, it was worth 300. We're trying to buy it below that 300 number. Prices have started coming down to those numbers. I mean, just because it's listed at a price, and just because the seller says they want a price, listing agent or broker says that, hey, this is the price, it doesn't mean that it's actually going to sell at that price. I've got an inbox full of, offers that we've made where people are coming down 50 grand, 35 grand, 100 grand, 125 grand. And there's still a lot of delusion in the market. There's still a lot of, well, we're below market value already. Why are you trying to come in and buy it even further below market value? And the delusion there is that if it was so far below market value already, then it would have already sold. It wouldn't still be sitting there. You wouldn't still be getting pushed back on price. And the market obviously does not think that it's worth that much. Otherwise, the market would have already bought it and taken it off the market. So if you can, give me some comments. Let me know. Let me know what type of deals are you trying to buy. What market are you trying to? Hey, we're still having issues on audio. Can we try switching up tonight? One moment, Facebook and YouTube. We're gonna get this fixed for you. Hey, Cody, how is that? Cody, give me a comment. Is this audio better? Audible is difficult to make out. There's something wrong with it. All right, so we're working on it, guys. Ronnie, Colby, Rebecca, everybody on Facebook and YouTube, don't worry, they're picking up. Um, so, what was I saying? What type of, yeah, leave me some comments. But leave me some comments on where you are, where you're buying deals at. Are you buying here in Austin, Texas? What market are you buying deals at? And what types of deals are you trying to buy? He said it's perfect now. Great. All right. So what type of deals are you trying to buy? Are you trying to buy a single family rental? You trying to buy some Airbnbs? You trying to buy, let's say, a 20 unit apartment complex? You trying to buy some mobile home parks? What type of deals are you looking to buy? We got Hart Hawkin here. We know Hart's looking for a deal. Hart, I think, is looking for a single family home. Rebecca's looking for land. Colby, what are you trying to buy right now? We got any comments on Instagram?
Someone's looking to buy their first 1 to 4 residential flip in Austin under 100. Someone else is looking for a cosmetic flip, 150 to 200.
All right, hold on. Give me 1 sec. So, someone wants to buy their first residential flip. All right, what's next?
Under 300. And someone's looking for a cosmetic flip, 150 to 200.
Where at? In Austin?
Okay. 150 to 200. Okay. Cosmetic flip in Austin. Colby's trying to buy some commercial deals. Upcoming market, I think commercial will be my next move. All right, Colby. I think commercial's always been your move. It's the Capelli way. Airbnbs. All right, cool. Let's dive into a few of these. So, like I mentioned, the one real estate investing strategy that has never failed Matt and I is always buying below market value. Now, again, when I say market value, I don't mean what it's listed for. Just because it's listed for a price, it does not mean that that price is market value. Market value is what the market is willing to pay for it, what the market thinks it's worth. So if a property is listed at a price and it's sitting there and the listing agent or the broker or the seller, they're telling you that this is already far below market value, I would say that that's inaccurate. Otherwise, it probably would have already sold. There's other factors there too. How much inventory there is. If there's 5 houses listed on the street and someone wants to live in this specific neighborhood, then that means they have 5 different options to choose from. However, general rule of thumb is that if it is not selling, there's a few things wrong. Number 1 could be location. Number 2 could be price. And number 3 could be that nobody's seeing it. So the marketing, whoever's trying to market this property to get it sold, they're not doing a great job because nobody has seen this property. But let's talk about a flip. So if you wanted to flip a deal, what do y'all think the most important thing is that you should consider when trying to buy a flip? We have 2 people in here who left comments. They said we want to buy a flip sub 300,000 in Austin. We have someone else who said that we want to buy a cosmetic flip 150,000 to 200,000 in Austin. Huh?
They said 150 to 200 spread, not price.
Got it. I was going to say, because you're not going to find anything in Austin. Spread. So that's a big spread. So what do you think? What do you think you should be looking for with something like that? And a cosmetic flip making 200 grand spread, you'd have to find an amazing deal. For everybody who doesn't know, a cosmetic flip would be like just putting some paint on it, or replacing the doorknobs, or pulling the carpet out and putting some flooring in. Really basic rehab to just cosmetically make it look better. Put some paint on it, replace the doorknobs, maybe get some new doors in there, paint the cabinets, replace the carpet. Real basic things. They don't cost you a whole lot of money, and they will make the property look cosmetically better. What were you going to say?
Full interior, exterior, cosmetic remodeling, kitchen, bath, everything. And then someone said they need to flip like $1 million house.
Potentially. We've made some big spreads like that. Not 200 on a flip where we bought it, fixed it up, and sold it. But we've easily made 120 on something that we barely touched it. I think we just cleaned it. That was with one of our partners here at TRE, an entrepreneur, Todd Estes. We got this deal out in San Antonio, and it was right outside of San Antonio. I think we got it for about 400, maybe a little bit less. Big house on like 12 acres of land. And all we did was clean the property. We cleaned the property, and there were some mobile homes on part of the land, and we got those removed. And I think we sold it for like $535, $525. And all we did was spend like $700 cleaning it. It took about 30 days to sell. This was at the end of last year, but that was a very good cosmetic flip. All we did was clean it, and we made $125K. All right, so I got a question. It says, "Hey, my question. I am the first buyer. Should I buy the single house or a multiple
Like
house?
first time.
Yeah, it depends. Everybody's situation is different. It depends on what you're looking to do. If you want to just buy a house and live in it, then go see if you can get a good deal and live in the house. If your goal is to try and make some income and rent it out, then you could still do it with the house. You could live in one room, rent out the other rooms. You could convert the garage into like an apartment, live in the apartment, rent out the house to somebody else. You could go and do what's called house hacking, which is what I've been talking about. And say you could buy a duplex, triplex, fourplex. You could buy all these with FHA loans, and you could rent out 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, however many you buy, live in the other unit. And the cool thing about that is that you get to utilize the rental income from those other units towards your own income to help qualify for the loan. So I would say that it just depends on your goals, but income is better than no income in my mind, and more income is better than fewer income in my mind as well. Personally, uh, I've never really cared about having my own house, living in the house that I own. Uh, like I can be happy just renting out a room somewhere in somebody else's house. I don't need a whole lot, and I'd much rather buy an asset, rent it out, get some income from it, than live in this house, put all this money into this house, and not get any income from it. And some might say, well, you're getting appreciation. If you buy it right, it's going to be a good investment. My buddy Matt Teifke, I don't know where he's at in here, but you can get the same thing if you rent it out too. So, it's better to have a rental income and all those things than no rental income in those things. So I think it just depends on your personal situation. Me, I've just never really cared about buying a house that I live in and making it my house and doing all these things to my house. Uh, I enjoy renting and I enjoy getting rental income. So we got another question.
Did you do a hard money loan for the property in San Antonio?
Yes, we did. We did get a hard money loan. I think it was about 10% down, point and a half maybe. And at that time, it was probably about like 8.5% interest rate. So we bought it at I think the purchase price is around 400. This is the San Antonio property for those who didn't hear. We bought it for about $405 or $407,000, give or take. 10% down, about 5,000 in points to the lender. We probably had some other closing costs, title, insurance, but the insurance we get refunded back when we sell the property for the months that we didn't use if we pay the full premium up front for 12 months. And all we did was clean it, sell it. I think we only paid like one mortgage payment, and that was it. In and out, cosmetic cleaning. Those I'm not too excited about flipping houses right now. I mean, flipping houses, there's a lot of costs associated with it. There is a lot of unknown and uncertainty. And right now, I wouldn't flip a house. Depending on just based on our goals. When I'm flipping a house, I don't want to hold on to it. I'm ready to get in, get out as quickly as possible. Stop paying the mortgage on a house that's not bringing in income. Stop spending money on contractors. Stop babysitting contractors. Stop trying to make sure that they're doing their job. Stop fixing their issues. I want to get the work done, get it listed, get it sold, get my money, and move on. And right now, prices just keep decreasing. And I don't think that this is going to happen for a long period of time, but it is right now. And buying right now, I think one should have the mindset of I'm going to hold on to this for at least 2+ years, because we don't know what's going to happen in 2023. I think things are going to get a little bit worse. Austin, it also depends on where you're at. Here in Austin, this is a great market. We got tons of jobs coming here. We got Elon Musk. We got Samsung, Apple, Facebook, Oracle, Amazon. Who else do we have? We got Tesla, SpaceX. Is Elon going to bring Twitter here? Not positive. But we've got a lot of money and a lot of jobs and a lot of opportunity here in Central Texas, specifically Austin. And I don't think this market is going to get hit super, super hard. However, prices have come down, and we've seen some depreciation on prices the way that they were going. However, it was craziness. I mean, in 2020 through 2021, we saw from June to June, over a 12-month period, we saw a 42% price increase year over year. 42%. That means if you bought the house for $200,000 in June of 2020, by June of 2021, that house was worth $282,000. You almost gained 50% on your asset and appreciation in 1 year. Now, that's just insane. And I don't think that that's going to continue, but there's a lot of things driving that. Inflation, low interest rates, a hot market like Austin with a bunch of jobs, a bunch of demand, low supply. But now we got a lot of supply. We still got a lot of demand, but less demand due to the fact that people can't afford what they could. And so I would just plan on buying a deal and holding on to it for at least 2+ years, because if you buy it now and you run your numbers based on what you think today's market value is, by the time you're getting ready to sell it, that market value might be lower. And you may have just lost all your profit because the market did its thing. Doesn't mean that you bought a bad deal necessarily. You might have, but it means that you're not holding on to it long enough. You're trying to sell too soon. And, people who are selling deals right now, they're doing it for a reason. They're not doing it because they're going to be making a lot of money. They're making substantially less than they could a year ago. We got a flip that's on the market right now. And when we bought it, we were planning on selling it for $440, $480, somewhere in that range, depending on how nice we made it. And now it's like sub $4, $350. I'm not sure. It hadn't sold yet. But do we hold on to it? Do we just take our money, get out? We're not losing money on it. That was going to be a great $150,000 profit on a flip, but ain't happening anymore. That's for sure. Unless we hold on to it and try and sell it a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. But that's a long time. I mean, I want to get my cash out. I want to go put it into something that's going to provide a better return than the single family house that's going to lose money on cash flow every month. So I'd be wary of flips, especially right now. Flips, like I said, our ideal flip, we're in and out. I get the work done in 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks max. Get that thing listed, get it sold, get our money, and get out of there. The longer you hold on to a flip, the more money it's going to cost you, more holding costs, mortgage payments, more work you got to get done, the more frustration it causes. We're also really busy. Flipping a property is a full-time job. So the longer we hold on to a flip, it's the longer it steals my time from doing other things that are going to generate income as well. So I'd be wary of flips right now. But you can go buy good deals that you can hold on to that will for sure generate some good appreciation for you in the long run, especially in a market like Austin, Texas. I think that it's going to, I think we're going to keep going down. We're going to keep going down, and then we're going to start coming back up. Just don't know exactly when. What do we got?
One, how do you guys evaluate storage unit deals?
Yeah.
And then 2, would you refinance out of your hard money loan and put a tenant in place?
On the flip? Yeah, well, we would have to. We would have to refinance it if we decided to keep it, which I really don't want to because of what I'm about to tell you, but we would have to refinance it. We'd have to put a tenant in it. We'd have to pay our property manager, and we would just lose money on it every month. Interest rates are so high right now. So we'd refinance out of the loan into a high, just regular interest rate. Property taxes are insane. We wouldn't get an insane amount in rent. You know, our mortgage payment with taxes, insurance, everything on that specific house would be about $2,900 to about $3,200 a year if you average that out. And that's not including maintenance. That's not including management. That's not including anything that goes wrong with the property. It's not including, having it vacant. There's so many other expenses that come with rental properties and investing, but I'm just talking about the mortgage payment, taxes, insurance, and the mortgage payment, even on an interest-only loan, not paying down principal and interest. And so if my mortgage payment, taxes, and insurance as well are at $2,900 to $3,100, and I'm renting it out for $2,200 a month, then sure, I mean, I'm not losing what I'm currently getting, which is nothing. I'm getting a little bit more, but I'm still losing $8, $9, $1,100 a month. And I'd rather just sell it, give my cash. We're not losing any money on it. So we'd make a little bit, way less than we originally thought. I'd rather get my cash out and go reinvest that into something that'll actually provide some cash flow or return. Just because I need to sell right now, that specific property, and I don't want to hold on to it, it's not a bad thing. Even if I did take a loss on it, I could get this cash, I could go reinvest it, and go let somebody else take a haircut, and I'll go get a great deal on somebody else's deal. What?
Chris, when you decide to Airbnb it or keep reducing?
Well, Airbnb is the same. I mean, Mr. Sweeney, do you have any Airbnbs? We've got some, and just because it's Airbnb doesn't mean it's going to be full either. I mean, Airbnb has a lot more costs as well. So with Airbnb, you've got, especially on a house like this, we'd have to rent it out for $250 plus a night. That's expensive. Is anybody traveling right now? If we do get into a bad recession and people lose a lot of their jobs, are people going to be spending a lot of extra income on traveling to my Airbnb in Round Rock, Texas, and staying in it? Maybe, maybe not. My partner, Matt, he has a Airbnb similar situation with like the size of the house and the nightly rates and all that stuff, and it's not doing that well. It's a big house. I mean, when Matt and I just went to Miami for Grant Cardone's conference, and I'm not paying $250, $300, $400 for an Airbnb. And even if I wanted to pay that much, I would rather do it in a hotel. I'd rather get the gym at the hotel. I'd rather get the breakfast at the hotel, even though I don't eat breakfast. It's there if I wanted to. I'd rather get the pool at the hotel. I'd rather get all the amenities of being in a hotel than an Airbnb. And so, Mr. Sweeney, we've thought about it, but you're also paying for utilities. You're also paying for all the furniture. You're also paying, instead of 7% for long-term rentals, you're paying 20% for short-term rentals. You're restocking the toilet paper, the paper towels, the salt shakers, the food, the water bottles, all the stuff. There's a lot more expenses with Airbnb, and I've run the numbers. We have a fourplex, and I've run the numbers on what do we make on some of the units are long-term, some of the units are Airbnb, and what do I make on the Airbnb units versus what do I make on the long-term units for net operating income? What's the differences? And it's not that much different. It's about the same. It's also inconsistent. At least with a long-term renter, I know I'm getting my rent every single month. With Airbnb, next month it may be completely vacant. I may have zero stays at my Airbnb, and so it's it's very inconsistent. And It's just a little bit risky. It's, high risk, high reward. Could potentially make a lot more money, but you could potentially also make a lot less. And so as that averages out, depending on the property, if it makes sense or not for Airbnb, you just got to ask yourself, does it? What? Yeah, storage units. So storage units is a little bit different than everything we've been talking about. So here are some things I would consider for someone asked on Instagram. How many people we got on TikTok? 15 on Instagram. Got it. Everybody, if y'all want to learn more about, excuse me, about analyzing deals, make sure you sign up for our webinar that we're doing at the end of this month, December 29th at 7 p.m. We're doing a webinar on how to find deals in a recession, and we'll cover all this plus more. It'll be me and Matt. We're going to be with y'all for an hour and a half and dive into it. But the link to sign up for that, you got to register, you got to sign up. There's not that many spots left, so make sure you go grab one. It's the link's in the bio. So for storage units, it's a little bit different than a Airbnb property. It is different than a single family rental. It's different than a flip. You're buying these storage units for the income that those storage units are going to produce every single month. So one thing that would be really important when first trying to go out and buy storage units is, where am I buying? Do you want to buy storage units in a town that has a population of 25 people? Probably not. Do you want to go buy it in a city or a metropolitan area that has population of 1 million, 2 million? Probably so. You also want to do some research on, where am I buying these storage units? Who is my competition around me? What are they charging? How occupied are they? Am I going to be able to rent this out? Is there enough need for storage units right where I'm buying this or building it? And I would recommend buying versus building. But you want to do your research on the location. Is this a good location? Does it make sense? Is there a lot of competition nearby? How much is it staying occupied? What am I able to charge here versus there? So get a good location for storage. But when analyzing it, you're going to analyze it based on the income. So let's say that you are buying, let me think about it. Let's say you're going to buy 100 units here in Austin, Texas. 100 storage units. Hey, you know what we should get for this is we should get a thing here of like the so 100 storage units in Austin, Texas. Someone give me a price of what a storage facility would cost here in Austin, Texas for 100 units. What do y'all think that costs? Type in the comments. Any comments? Okay. What do y'all think it would rent for? What does a storage unit rent for? $150?
4 mil.
2 mil, 4 mil, 1 mil, 2 mil, 4 mil. How much does a storage unit rent for? $150? We don't own any storage units, but I would love to. So let's say we got 100 storage units here in Austin, and let's say they each rent out for $150 a month per unit. And of course, you're going to have different sizes. You may have climate controlled. You might have non-climate controlled. You might have 7 by 10. You might have 10 by 10, 20 by 10. There's going to be different sizes with different rental amounts. But okay, I just want to say, on average, these storage units rent out for $250 per unit. Maybe these are smaller storage units. $250 per unit per month. let's say that, so what's that number? 250 times how many units? 100 units gives us $25,000 a month, right? Now, let's do this times 12 to give us our annual income of 300,000. So $300,000 in potential income from these storage units. Now, it's not going to stay 100% occupied the whole time, is it? Let's assume that it stays occupied 93% of the time. So we take that 300,000 and we multiply it by 0.93 and we get 279,000. $279,000. Let's say that the expenses to operate the storage units are pretty low. You know, there's not a lot of management needed. There's not a lot of maintenance needed. It's just a box, right? So your operating expenses are going to be much lower than they otherwise would. Your expenses that are going to cost you a lot are going to be your insurance, most likely, your property taxes, which are extremely high here in Austin. And then you're probably going to have someone on staff to do some marketing. You're going to have somebody on staff to onboard, offboard people. When someone's credit card gets declined, they're going to want to reach back out, charge the credit card, get a new credit card number. So let's say that we can operate this storage facility for 18% of the income. So 0.18. That doesn't sound horrible to me. Divided by 0.18. All right, so our expenses, so we take 279 times 0.18. Let's say our expenses are $50,000. We're going to round down. So minus 50,000 leaves us, those are our operating expenses. That's not debt. So that leaves us with $229,000 of net operating income. Colby, where's Ryan Spencer? You got to get this guy into real estate. $229,000 would be your net operating income. Let's say you did buy it for, let's say that they were selling this for, I like the 2 million number. So they were selling, which is probably pretty low here in Austin, but let's say they were selling it for $2 million. That's our purchase price. 229. I'm going to give you guys a cap rate. Divided by 2 million. That would be a great deal. That'd be a 11.5% cap rate. And I don't think you're going to get that in Austin. So let's say they're actually selling it for 4 million. So 4 million would put their cap rate at about 5.5%. 229 divided by 4 million gives you 5.7 cap. That is also probably going to be a good deal, but more realistic than 11% cap rate. So if you were to spend $4 million on this, and for everybody who doesn't know, cap rate basically just means if you were to buy this property cash, this is the return that you would get on the $4 million that you spent on it. So 229,000, your net operating income, that is 5.7% of the 4 million. So you would get that. Now, if you raise the rents, that would be other income that you'd be able to get from it. And that's how you would increase the value over time. But that's how you'd look at it. In very basic terms, you'd look at the purchase price, you'd look at the income, you'd look at your expenses, you'd look at your net operating income that you're going to get from it, and you'd say, does a 5.7% return make sense for me? If you're going to get a loan on the property, then you'd want to then start subtracting your debt from your net operating income. Are you going to make money? Are you going to lose money? What is your cash on cash return? So if you did get a loan on it and you put 35% down, 4 million times 0.35. It's a good amount. So you'd put down $1.4 million as a down payment, and you got the remaining $2.6 million loaned to you by a bank. And let's say you got it at a 2.6 million. Let's say you got it at a 6.5% interest rate. So just assuming worst 0.0775, let's say your debt payments, remember your property taxes, your insurance, these are all included in that $50,000 worth of operating expenses. But let's say your debt on the property is going to be about 200, let's just call it 200,000. So that means that your net income, your free cash flow, is going to be the 229 minus 200, and that's going to leave you with 29 grand. $29,000. And remember, you put down 1.4 million. So when you buy it, you got 29,000. It's going to provide you a 2% cash on cash return. However, your tenants are paying your debt, and anything you do from here to raise income on the properties or get more income coming in or decrease your expenses is just more money that you're going to be able to make on top of it. I would buy this deal. If this deal was an actual deal here in Austin, I would buy it, depending on a few other factors. Where it was located. Maybe this is 50% below market rents, and I know that the day I buy it, as tenants' leases start renewing, I can raise them up to $500. At that point, I've just doubled my income and created a lot of value with this property. So I would buy that deal. But you want to look for location. You want to look at the income. You want to look at the expenses that are involved. You want to look at how you can raise the income and get more money out of it. There's a lot of different ways to approach it, but in short, that's how you can take a look at storage, multifamily, industrial. Colby in here likes to buy industrial properties. Same concept. You're looking at the numbers, good location. What can I do with rents? How much income am I going to get? And does it make sense? Any other questions? What are our comments?
Storage unit got appraised for 9.5. They rent it for $350 a month for a 10 by 10 in South Austin. Two storage units there. Aaron Boyer says he was paying $185 for non-climate control at 7 by 12.
Mm-hmm.
John Brown says I'm in.
John's in. All right. Cool. So these are the types of deals that I would be focusing on right now. I wouldn't go look for flips. I mean, it's probably the worst time I've ever seen here in Austin to try and go flip a property. Buy it now, sell it 2 months later. You want to hold on to it. It is a great time to go buy and go steal some deals, but I wouldn't try and sell it in 3 months. I would hold on to it for 2-3 years to get that appreciation back to where it needs to be in order for you to make some money on it.
So 2 questions. John Brown says run the numbers on Anderson Mill. And then Jose says when do you use cap rate versus cash on cash return?
So John, we've run the numbers on Anderson Mill. That's why we bought it. We're breaking even. Anderson Mill something's moving. It's you hitting the stand. Anderson Mill, we bought single family house in Anderson Mill. We overpaid for it. If we were to buy that thing cash, we overpaid for it by a lot. But we didn't buy it cash. We bought it. Can you move? We bought it with seller financing. And we put less than 10% down, so $440,000 purchase price. We put $40,000 down, broken up into a couple payments, 20 at closing, 20 60 days later. Our interest rate on it is extremely low, and it's amortized over like a 80-year period because we needed the mortgage payment down to $1,300 a month. So we got the mortgage payment down to $1,300 a month with the seller. The loan has a balloon in 5 years, which means that our balance is due at that point in time. And we rented out for $2,150 or something. Taxes and insurance pretty much cover that gap between $1,300 and $2,150. So does maintenance and property management and everything. But it's a good deal, John. That's why we bought it. And it's hard to find a single family deal specifically that'll just break even like that in Austin. So we don't plan on selling it this year, next year, the following year. So 5 years from now, when we look up, that thing's going to be worth a lot more money. And we're not losing money on it every single month like you normally would with a single family rental in Austin. We're about breaking even, if not making just a little bit more. And it's a good long-term hold for us. Great deal, great mortgage payment, great neighborhood all the way around. Great job finding it. Good partner. Not just a great deal, but we got a great partner on it too. We need to buy more of those, John. What was the other question?
What do you use cap rate versus cash on cash return?
Cap rate versus cash on cash return. So your cap rate it's a number that it's just a relationship between sales price and your NOI. So we don't necessarily buy any deal off of that. If anything, we really just use it for negotiation purposes. But the cash on cash is important because if our cap rate, let's say, for example, is 8% and our loan is at 9%, our cash on cash return would be negative. We'd lose money every single month because our debt costs more than the net operating income we're getting. So one of the most important numbers that we get is the cash on cash return. What's our cash flow number? What's our net income number? How much are we making at the end of the day after debt, all operating expenses, and everything? What else we got? Any other questions? All right, we're going to dive into this much deeper. We're going to talk about how to find these deals. We're going to talk about where to look, how to make offers on them, where to go get them. There's a lot of motivation out in the market right now. So don't miss it. December 29th, 7 p.m. Sign up. Links in the comments, and it's in the bios. And we will see you December 26th. We're going to go live. And what are we talking about? I wrote down the topic a minute ago.
How to make money.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the upcoming year, 2023, how to make money in real estate in 2023. And then on December 29th, we got that webinar that you got to sign up for. And we're going to talk about how to find deals in a recession. We'll see you then.